All right, today we're looking at the SFXR again, and this is something I've shown before. This is a quick way to make sound effects for a game. You can do all kinds of sounds, coin, laser, explosion, power up, jump. It's a really nice tool, and I've been looking to do a port of this in Lazarus, but I found out that someone already has done this. And it's right here. It's part of this mini projects. I forked it, but one of these mini projects is the SFXR, and there is a Lazarus version of this. So this is the Linux version, I guess. And I managed to compile it under Windows, and it works just fine. There's a few hiccups I want to go over. Many versions of this have been done, including like the web-based, so this is a Java-based or JavaScript-based, does the same thing. And the reason I'm really interested in this is because I want to incorporate this into my own development tools. So I have created a sprite editor, map editor, and one of the things it lacks is sound effects, and I wanted to add that as part of the actual program so it could be integrated to all the supported compilers and everything. So this would be a starting point, just exporting WAV files, but at some point it'll export code that you could read into arrays and do all kinds of things with sounds. I just want to go over how to compile it and some of the hiccups I ran into. So here's the source code here. I've had to download the bass.dll, and there's two versions of this. So if you're not careful, you could end up just using the wrong one and getting some compiler errors or runtime errors. I'll go over that. Anyway, you get the DLL from this site, un4scene.com. And it's right at the top. You just need to download the Win32 version. This is regardless if you're compiling for 64-bit or 32-bit. Included in the download is both the DLLs required. So it's not just Win32, it's Win64 as well. So let me just load this up. And here's the form. And we're just going to... Do I have this running already? Let's see. Yep. Okay. So this is the compiled version running and everything. So everything works. And you could export the WAV file here. I'm not going to do that right now, but yeah, it seems to do the same thing as the C version and the web-based version. So all the major features are here. I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm going to show you what problems you might have. So right now it has the correct DLL file. What I'm going to do is use the wrong DLL file just to show you what can happen. So if you run into this error, you know exactly what the problem is. So on the other screen that you're not seeing, I'm actually just renaming the DLL files. Okay, so normally when you download the DLL file from the UN4Scene site, it comes in. Let me just download it just to show you what it comes in. Okay. Well, I've downloaded it before. Let's just go in here. So if you choose this DLL file, this is the 32-bit version. And it will work fine if you compile your programs under a 32-bit format. But you will need to go into x64 and find the same DLL files. You can't use both of them at the same time. You can't rename one of them to a 64-bit version or the other to a 32-bit. So you have to choose which one you want to distribute with your programs. So right now, I have the 32-bit version, and I'm going to compile under 64-bit. So I'm going to go onto my compiler options, and I have default here, which is the 64-bit. So if we compile this or run it, so when using the wrong DLL file, you're going to get an error like this. And we can resolve it by just using the correct one now. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do now. And where is our file? Okay. So I'm going to rename this back to .32 and rename the 64-bit back to just BAS DLL. And that's all I'm doing right now. So if we go back and retry this again, we don't get any errors this time. Everything works just fine. So how do you compile under 32-bit with Lazarus? Because of the default is 64-bit. Well, you go into the compiler options, and I've selected an additional compiler option, and I added it as Win32. Let me just delete this. And I will add it back in. So we click here, and I'm going to call it Win32. And I'm going to go under config and target, and I'm going to change this to Win32 and I386. I'm going to leave the other to default. So once we do this, if we select Win32 now, I'll just pause this or break it out of this, run it again. So we're compiling for Win32 now, and we have the 64-bit DLL file. Let's see what happens. So we get the same compiler error or application error. Again, I'm going to rename back the correct ones. So rename this back to 64, and if we compile again, everything works. So that's it. If you want to download the code, I'll put a link in the description part and links to where to get the BAS DLL files. And hopefully that's clear. I had to go through a few guesses to figure this out, but hopefully it'll save somebody else. The bas.pas file, which is included with the download, you have to copy that into your source directory also. I think I skipped that. So this file right here, bas.pas, that comes in the distribution of the bas.zip. So if we go into the Delphi folder, you can see it's right here. Let me bring that over. So you'll download bas24.zip and go into Delphi folder, and here it is. You just copy this into your SFXR folder, and you should be able to copy it I think that's it. Let me just go over the source code. Okay, so as long as this if-def here says use bass, as long as it'll use bass. You could comment it out or put a period in front of it, and it won't use bass, and you won't hear the preview sounds, but you'll be able to still export. So that's what this does right here. Okay, I think that's it. Try it out. Let me know if there's any problems.